Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you a part of Great Expectations.
S.
Great Expectations. Charles Dickens. Chap 35 Sec 1. It was the first time that a grave had opened in my road of life, and the gap it made in the smooth ground was wonderful. The figure of my sister in her chair by the kitchen fire haunted me night and day. That the place could possibly be without her was something my mind seemed unable to compass. And whereas she had seldom or never been in my thoughts of late, I had now the strangest ideas that she was coming towards me in the street, or that she would presently knock at the door, in my rooms too, with which she had never been at all associated. However, I saw the turn of her face or figure, as if she was still alive and had been often there. Whatever my fortunes might have been, I could scarcely have recalled my sister with much tenderness. But I suppose there is a shock of regret which may exist without much tenderness. So much. And I felt that on sufficient proof I could have revengefully pursued Orlick, or anyone else, to the last extremity. Having written to Joe to offer him consolation, and to assure him that I would come to the funeral, I passed the intermediate days in the curious state of mind I have glanced at. I went down early in the morning, and alighted at the Blue Boar in good time to walk over to the Forge. It was fine summer weather again. And then, as I walked home, the times when I was a little helpless creature, and my sister did not spare me, vividly returned. Tekla. For now, sunshine should be softened as they thought of me. At last I came within sight of the house, and saw that Trabb and company had put in a funeral execution and taken possession. Two dismally absurd persons, possibly communicate any comfort to anybody I were posted at the front door. A young couple into a soppet on their bridal morning, the neck with both arms. All the children of the village, and most of the women, were admiring these sable warders and the closed windows of the house and Forge. And as I came up, too much exhausted by grief to have strength remaining to knock for myself, another sable warder carpenter, who had once eaten 2 geese for a wage, opened the door, and showed me into the best parlour. Wister. Trabb had taken unto himself the best table, and had got all the leaves up, and was holding a kind of black bazaar, with aid of a quantity of black pins. At the moment of my arrival, he had just finished putting somebody's hat into black long clothes, like an African baby. So he held out his hand for mine. But I, misled by the action, and confused by the occasion, shook hands with him with every testimony of warm affection. Poor dear Joe, entangled in a little black cloak tied in a large bow under his chin, was seated apart at the upper end of the room, while, as chief mourner, he had evidently been stationed by Trabb. When I bent down and said to him, "Dear Joe, how are you?" he said, old chap, and said no more. Biddy, looking very neat and modest in her black dress, went quietly here and there, and was very helpful. When I had spoken to Biddy, Joe, and there began to wonder in what part of the house that my sister was. There of the parlour being faint with the smell of sweet cake, I looked about for the table of refreshments. It was scarcely visible until one had got accustomed to the gloom, but there was a cut-up plum cake upon it, and there were cut-up oranges, and sandwiches, and biscuits, and 2 decanters that I knew very well as ornaments, but had never used in all my life. One full of port, and one of sherry. Standing at this table happened, he was alternately stuffing himself and making obsequious movements to catch my attention. The moment he succeeded, he came over to me breathing sherry and crumbs, and said in a subdued voice, "May I?" "Please, sir," and did. I then described Mr. and Mice. Abel, the last named in a decent speechless paroxysm in a corner, separately by tribe into ridiculous bundles, which I mean to say, it Jill whispered me, as we were being what Mr. Trub called formed in the parlour. To and it was dreadfully like a preparation for some grand kind of dance, which I meant to say. So, as I would in preference have carried her to the church myself, bracket handkerchiefs out. Off, cried Mr. Trab at this point, in a depressed business-like voice. Pocket handkerchiefs out. So we put our pocket handkerchiefs to our faces, as if our noses were bleeding, and filed up 2 and 2. Showenai, Biddy in public, with and Mice, Obol. The remains of my poor sister had been brought round by the kitchen door, and then blinded under a horrible black velvet housing with a white border. The whole looked like a blind monster with 12 human legs, shuffling and blundering along, under the guidance of two keepers, a boy and his comrade. The neighbourhood, however, highly approved of these arrangements, and we were much admired as we went through the village. Cut us off, and lying in wait to intercept us at points of vantage. Our emergence ran some corner of expectancy. Here they come, here they are, and we were all but cheered. In this progress, I was much annoyed by the abject public, who, being behind me, persisted all the way as a delicate attention in arranging my streaming hatband and smoothing my cloak. My thoughts were further distracted by the excessive pride of Mr. and Mice, Abel, who were surpassingly conceited and vainglorious in being members of so distinguished a procession. And the range of marshes lay clear before us, with the sails of the ships on the river growing out of it. And we went into the churchyard, close to the graves of my unknown parents. Philip, late of this parish, and also Georgiana, wife of the above. And there, my sister was laid quietly in the earth, while the larks sang high above it, and the light wind strutted with beautiful shadows of clouds and trees. of the conduct of the worldly-minded public while this was doing. I desire to say no more than it was all addressed to me. Nothing into the world, and can take nothing out. And how I fleet like a shadow, and never continues long in one stay. Unexpectedly into large property. When we got back, I had done her so much honour. Heart F. After that, he drank all the rest of the sherry, and missed too. Hubble drank the port, as if they were of quite another race from the deceased, and were notoriously immortal. Finally, he went away with Mr. and Mice. Hubble to make anything of it. I felt sure. My illicit benefactor, when they were all gone, and went sharp and his men but not his way. I looked for him had crammed their mummery into bags, and were going to. The house felt wholesomer. Soon afterwards, the day. To be continued.